Tokugawa is a civ that's clearly very strong and has a clear power creep upgrade over most of the base civs in the game, but he is someone that I haven't really found myself enjoying while I play. Why is that? Well, let's find out as we go over him in our latest civ overview video. We're very close to wrapping up this series, and I think we only have about 6 or 7 videos remaining, so just thank you everyone for the support, and remember, if you like videos like this, check out some of my other content and join the community that I'm trying to grow here on the channel. We're really close to our 2,000 subscriber goal, and I think we're going to hit it within the next month or two. Thanks for being a part of that. Japan is one of the best base civ kits in the game. They're always my first or second recommendation for new players. Their civ ability, Meiji Restoration, gives districts a +1 adjacency bonus for being next to other districts instead of the standard 0.5, meaning you get huge adjacency bonuses on all those districts that you love so much. And since districts are the lifeblood of Civ 6, getting bonuses towards them makes Japan a very solid civ, and this means that the rest of the Japanese kit should be a bit lackluster since the unique ability is so strong in and of itself. However, the Samurai is a unique man-at-arms, which is a strong unit that has more combat strength, +3, and doesn't get combat penalties for being damaged, which means it effectively has more than a +3 bonus. More importantly though, in my opinion, is the fact that it can be found on the culture tree instead of the science tree, allowing you to beeline things like crossbows or trebuchets to help back up your aggressive push or defense, and allowing you to get harbors and commercial hubs and your other districts instead of having to go straight for apprenticeship, which can sometimes be a bit out of the way, although apprenticeship is a key tech that every civilization, especially Japan, is going to be picking up. You might want to be picking up other things earlier than apprenticeship, so being able to get to feudalism with your strong culture game that Japan gets with Hojo and with Tokugawa, it really makes the samurai a useful addition to the tree, even though I do feel its combat bonuses could be a bit stronger. Japan also gets the electronics factory, which is, in my opinion, a pretty forgettable bonus factory replacement. It gives you a lot of culture when you have electronics or electricity, but often this comes super late and it doesn't matter too much to the overall game plan that you're going to be going for. So what makes Japan so strong is Meiji Restoration. Combine that with Hojo's half-cost districts, which allows you to tightly pack in cities with very cheap districts, which means essentially you have 3 unique districts with the encampment, with the theater square, and with the holy site, and that allows you to get the most out of your Meiji Restoration bonus. So really tall cities, cheaply built districts, high adjacency. So Tokugawa is going to have a strong ability to compete with that, and luckily for him, he probably has maybe the strongest ability in the game, except for Yongla just breaks everything, but Tokugawa might be right there with him. If he had some sort of broken combo like Peter with Dance of the Aurora and Work Ethic, Tokugawa might be one of the best civs in the game. His ability, Bakuhan, makes your international trade routes weaker, but super pumps up your internal trade routes. You get +1 culture, +1 science, and +2 gold for every specialty district at the destination of your trade routes. Don't forget that you're also going to be getting food and production off of your other districts and the fact that you have internal trade routes. So this is a huge ability that comes into play as soon as you get your first district and your second city, which gives you every yield in the game. You also get +4 amenities to your cities within 6 tiles of your capital, meaning that your first 3 or 4 cities are pretty much always going to be ecstatic at the beginning of the game, and they're always loyal. And as if you needed any more bonuses, after you get the flight, you get +1 tourism for all specialty districts, and you can very easily get quite a few specialty districts. So this is a huge ability. It's stronger than pretty much anything except for Yongla's Lija ability. And if, like I said earlier, if you had that broken combo like Dance of the Aurora Work Ethic or anything like that, Tokugawa would be S tier easily. But I don't think you have that broken combo. I find this leader ability to be interesting because it encourages you to play in ways that are super different than Hojo. Hojo works well with a smaller, taller empire that is maximizing its district adjacency and growth. That's not to say that Hojo can't work wide, it's just that the closer and taller your cities are, the better your districts as Hojo are going to be. And Tokugawa kind of plays in the opposite manner. You don't want super tall cities. You want one super tall city. You can benefit from tall cities, but your real bonuses are going to be from having one tall capital and a million small cities building just commercial hubs or harbors and then settlers. You get direct bonuses from trade routes, so that means you scale with trade routes. Whereas Hojo scales with population, Tokugawa scales directly with trade routes, so you only get trade routes from building markets or lighthouses, aside from the great merchant trade routes. So you need to be spreading out, which means less time building builders and other districts and more time building settlers. However, you don't want those settlers coming out of your capital, because you want your capital to be huge. You need to get all those specialty districts in the capital so that you can get those yields off of those trade routes that you're going to be scaling off of. So you can only build so many districts in your capital, right? If your population, let's see, you get one free district, and then you get one at pop 4, 7, 10. So like you need in order to get all the specialty districts, you need, what is it, plus 13 to get the major ones. So you need, once you hit pop 13, your bonuses are going to cap off. So the only exponential growth you get on those bonuses is coming from having trade routes, which means cities. You need more cities, less population, more settlers, more cities, more trade routes. So everywhere you read online tells you that you want to play a turtley game as Tokugawa, and that's completely wrong. You are made for hyper expansion. More cities, more trade routes, more science, culture, and gold. Spread those cities out from your settlements instead of your capital to keep that growth going in your capital. Place Magnus in your capital with the food trade route bonus. If you get an early monumentality golden age, sure, get provision and build settlers out of that capital, but you want your settlers coming from your satellite cities so that it's quicker and faster to settle. Yeah, the gold that you're going to be getting off of these trade routes that's just going to scale immensely is going to allow you to purchase settlers pretty quickly out of your satellite cities, and then just more trade routes scale exponentially like that. So Tokugawa gets a 6 out of 10 for domination. I really feel like you're pushed really heavily into domination. You lose Hojo's cool bonuses for fighting on coast, and you lose the half-cost encampments, but you are encouraged to spread out to get those trade routes, and the samurai can help you do this. It's not as exciting as other domination leaders, but you're going to be benefiting your science and culture from this domination much more than others might. Culture gets an 8 out of 10. More cities means more theater squares and the possibility of more national parks and great works. However, you are highly incentivized to be building harbors and commercial hubs first instead of theater squares. But this doesn't matter. The culture yields off of your trade routes, if you get enough of them, are going to carry you through. Imagine having 20 trade routes, that's not impossible, getting 7 culture off of your huge capital. And then throw in the added bonus of tourism from districts, which you're probably going to have a lot of, and you get a really strong culture game. The only issue here is you're probably going to have killed the majority of civs on the map before this district tourism really comes into play. Science, however, is where I think Tokugawa shines the most. The science yield off of your trade routes, combined with the population you're going to get in your capital, especially if you grab the vampires, and the giant adjacency you can get on campuses and industrial zones, gives Tokugawa a 9 out of 10 on science. Religion and diplomacy are all viable and doable, diplomacy even more so than religion, but I think to a much lesser degree than the above 3 victory routes. You don't get the half-cost holy sites for religious victories, and in order to spread out enough to use your bonuses, you're going to incur some diplomatic wrath, so they get a 5 out of 10 for me. Previously, I've been playing Tokugawa wrong since he came out. I've always tried to play him like Hoju and Old Japan, which is super high district adjacencies, super tall cities, but once you realize that your bonuses replace instead of supplementing these adjacency bonuses, then you really change how this civ feels. I give Tokugawa a high A, probably A+, and maybe even the top of A+. Even though I played him wrong and enjoy him less than Hojo, that doesn't mean that he's worse. It's just a me problem. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.